Hi, I'm Benandorf, and welcome back to another episode of Victoria 2, Heart of Darkness. As we last left off, we were in the midst of a pretty bloodless war with Egypt, and apparently I just realized we can barely see our lines here in Egypt for the areas we have occupied. Other than that, though, we were working on some colonies in the Pacific, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get started. Another occupation finished. Said, these have all been quite short. Oof, the desert might hurt my men from lack of supply, so I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that, make sure I don't get too low. Oh, right, and my navy's still on the way to try and knock their army out of Malaysia. Wiped out another 2 of their transports, so they are completely stuck on this island. I'm gonna load up this unit. I don't think I'll get there quite in time, but it should be a short occupation to take it back. A little bit of prestige. Nothing noteworthy, but beggars can't be choosers and all that. Still have plenty of commerce raiders coming, so we should be able to finish up our colonizations without too many problems. And going to destroy their army and then occupy and take back the land that we lost in Malaysia. More tea, so going to give that to the capitalists. Let them have it and do what they wish. Yep, completely one-sided battle there, so going to just take back Alor Sitar and send this fleet back up to Egypt to keep an eye out and to move back any troops if necessary. And that occupation's done already, so just going to leave that army in Malaysia for the moment. I'll probably just shift around and have the 7th Army move back. Oh, excuse me, actually that was... No, that's right. And finally took Al Arish. So going to move on to the next and last bit of Sinai. Looking at the newspapers, Ottoman Empire is trying to expand here in Saudi Arabia, and sub-states of China are afraid of us. Doesn't really surprise me, doesn't really affect me. We are slowly getting to that 80% necessary. Hopefully Egypt will give in before that point. They have no brigades and only 12% war exhaustion, so they might give in before I get to 50%, or before I have to take everything and get to 80%. Looking at the war, it's like Spain and Netherlands are not doing a very good job taking over Algeria. I don't really care, though. They will take it sooner or later. We're making tons of cash. So, oh, well, that's just because we haven't been able to get all of the necessary maintenance goods, so I won't drop taxes yet. But I am going to click through and support all of these projects. Continuing to occupy in Egypt. It's rather one-sided, this whole war in Egypt thing. Looking at the newspaper again. Stateite insults. It would be in the Borneo state. They're afraid of us, and thus they need some assistance. Lucky for them, they're still supported by the Netherlands, who's just freed another dominion, interestingly enough. But so long as they have support of the Netherlands, I'm going to leave them be. Though I will keep eyeing the Netherlands, and if they jump up to great power status, might try and take Java away from them. We'll eventually take it. Of course, I've been saying I'll take Siam for ages, and that probably needs to be my next big focus once my infamy eventually drops. So, I keep getting distracted with other side things. We're still making so much cash. I am going to drop taxes on everybody. And if we start going to the red, I'll deal with it at that point. Another successful occupation, so just keeping on moving. And while I'm at it, while I have the cash, I'm going to pony up to expand a few more naval bases. If I have any, I can still expand, that is. Oh, and it looks like we have 100 colonial power again. Let's see, we are starting to compete with the UK and Tahiti, so might end up not getting that one. We will get the Hawaiian Islands without any problems, though. And yeah, that looks like that's about it that's still available. Other than Easter Island all the way over there to the far east. The far east of the Pacific, anyways. But in September, we'll come back and upgrade in Tahiti again. I don't think I can win a colonial contest with the UK, but they are trying to expand in so many other places, I imagine, that they might just have to give in and let us take Tahiti. Worth at least keeping and following for the moment. And continuing occupations in Egypt. Slowly getting up to that 100%. The ticking war goals, which were added in Heart of Darkness, have finally come into effect. Once you get 75% of a war goal, then it starts to tick towards, or just every day you gain a little bit more war score until eventually the other side is forced to capitulate. And there we go, we can create a colony, or we can expand this to protectorate, the Hawaiian Islands. So now we have plenty of colonial power, and the only thing really to focus on is Tahiti. So we might just beat the UK out in this way. Here's hoping, anyways. Where did I build that? In Tonga. Oh well, I'll find that later. And this is Southern New Guinea, which the UK and the Netherlands are currently battling it out over. Let's see, expand a naval base here. And I think that's all of my naval bases now currently being expanded. So we don't have a whole lot to spend money on. Another successful occupation. I'm gonna... Looking at... We could really use some more clerks. And since we have gotten to the 10% capitalist in Seoul, I'm going to focus on clerks in our second largest state. Try to build up some clerks, which will increase our research points. And with the literacy that we're slowly gaining, and the level of literacy in the home islands, hopefully we will be able to get a decent number of clerks to promote, especially with this national focus. And it looks like Hokkaido has reached the 0.1% or 0.10% capitalist ratio, so I'm going to move clerks. I'm going to move from there to clerks in Kanto. Another newspaper. More insults. Seems that everyone is afraid of them. Afraid of us, rather. Artillery has been going up, probably due to all the big wars that need artillery. And analytic philosophy, an extra 1 in prestige just showed up, but that was enough to push us up to number 5 in prestige. Alright, and a crisis has just popped up. UK versus Russia. I am going... Oh, it doesn't even give me the option to join in. Oh, because I'm at war, and great powers at war cannot take part in a crisis. Never mind. That would be why. Russia backed down. Or rather, the UK backed down. Wine production increased. Yay, some extra plurality, so more research points. We are almost done with biologism, which will be nice. Oh, we're losing in Tahiti. It's just now September, so I can... Now, not that one. That's Tonga. Here we go. Here's Tahiti. Can just now expand, and I'll run with UK for a while. We have almost 300 colonial power, which is more than enough. Ooh, but our budget's dropping fast, so I'm gonna raise these taxes again. Not that far. Oops. There we go, back in the green. Biologism just finished. So I'm going to look and do cheap iron because of the amount of coal, iron, and precious metals that we produce. This should be a pretty good boost to our income and just our economy as a whole. Oh no, a regiment is disloyal. Gonna choose the one that does not lose prestige. Algeria capitulated, so I'm gonna accept that. And now just the war with Egypt, which is still ticking, and we're still occupying. I'm going to take the cut down to size CB on Zulu. I can't imagine any situation that I will actually use that in, but I'll take it nonetheless. Looking at Africa, there's... it is the Netherlands that released South Africa, which is a little odd that Great Britain didn't, but I guess their huge navy... Oh, it doesn't break down their military score like it does for us. But anyways, their huge navy probably gave them enough colonial points that they won't need to release any of these. So, Africa is coming along very interestingly. A lot of Sicilian colonies. France is taking huge chunks, as well as a decent number of the Netherlands. Whereas the UK is pretty much completely hands-off. Even the US is getting in on it, taking a few bits of Africa on the west coast. So, it should be interesting to see how all that goes. Checking the newspaper, more insults towards us. Everyone's afraid of us, apparently. Some interesting fluff about artificial diamonds and Professor Marsh in the Sioux. But, as I say every time I look at the newspaper, nothing that affects us, just some fluff. Newspaper again, crisis in motion already has been fixed. Vertebrae everywhere. And Professor Huxley is crazy. Oh, yeah, who would have ever thought that dinosaurs and birds are related? Spoilers, they actually are. Hope that didn't ruin it for you. I'm going to increase the opinion of Portugal. Gonna try and grab them from the UK, but can't imagine I'll actually be successful. Still worth a shot. And in the meantime, just continuing to siege Egypt. Almost done up here, at least. So almost finished with Sinai. And time to upgrade in Tahiti region again. Not there because I can't reach there. Tahiti is very spread out, it would appear. And where can I... There we go. No? Alright, I give up. Where is the bits of Tahiti I can actually colonize through? That's New Guinea. That's actually Tahiti. That's mine. Phew. This is obnoxious. I can never remember where I need to go to colonize here. 266. Blech. Annoying. I wonder if this will perhaps help. No, that just sends me back over here. I just would have sworn I could have built there, but I can't imagine where it would be that I'm missing at this point. If I can't build in Hawaii... No, don't look at the... Hurt me. Well, it probably won't have mattered anyways, but it's still obnoxious that I'm unable to colonize. Just because I can't figure out where I'm going. Oh well, if the UK wants it that badly, they can have it. Ah, and Egypt has given up, so gonna accept the peace offer. And move this army, 7th Army, back into our new land. Plus expand the naval base here in Sinai. And move the 8th Army back to the home islands, where I'll eventually split it up. And there we go. Actually, I won't move them there. I'll move it. There's no reason to combine it with the other units. I'll move it a little bit further north in the home islands. End of another year. Slight shift in the upper house, and more importantly, that extra 50% education efficiency. Delicious. I'm gonna drop taxes. After all, don't need to keep taxing everyone so highly if I'm in the green anyways, so gonna let the poor take on most of the responsibility. And looking at it looks like Kansai's, for the moment at least, not entirely full. I'm sure that will change soon. Small arm factories will be coming through there soon, which will be quite nice. Since having some small arms inside, or more small arms made in Japan, will be nice for when other great powers are at war. It looks like I could intervene in this war, but I really don't care to. Preacher Man event. I'm going to take the consciousness over population loss. And there we go, about 50% increase to the speed of literacy growth. Exactly what it said on the tin. Looking at the newspaper, people are afraid of vampires, and the metric system was invented. They really do have a lot of flavor events. Where's the naval base? Yeah, oh, that's where it is. And let's see. Maybe one of these. I'm very annoyed at being unable to reach this bait. Being unable to. Oh, now I can build another settlement. Maybe I just was clicking all the wrong places. I don't even know. But I'll check back in June to expand it again, or even just watch it. Cheap iron just finished, so interchangeable parts are iron railroad. I don't think all the railroads are built, but it's getting pretty close, so... Oh, that's what I'll do. Business regulation. Increase tax efficiency, big decreases to factory costs, increase to mining and farming output, plus the diplomatic influence. I don't know why it's taken me so long to get back over to this one. Just too many different good things that I should be researching, I guess. And I'm going to drop the taxes on the poor. I'm a little bit in the red, but can afford to stay there for at least a short period of time. Iron production increased by 20%. I expect to see iron jump up here into the top 5 in the near future, though grain is still far and away the biggest. And on the 22nd, so going to expand the guard post. Oh, increase to rubber production. I don't know that I produce any rubber at this point. No, I don't. So that does nothing for me. Oh, wow. We actually have a very low amount of iron currently being produced. And very low numbers of canned food and ammunition. I'm not entirely sure why that is, considering we have factories. I assume, yeah, we just can't get all of the inputs, which is unfortunate and a little annoying, but our increases to the increases in the near future to iron production should help with some of that. I might want to invest in a few more of these metallurgy researches, though, or metallurgy, I guess researches is the right technologies. That's it. Metallurgy technologies in the near future. But there's so many good things that I want to research, and I'm still quite a bit behind. Although I am pulling in 35 research points a year, and it is only 77. Or not a year, a day, and it is only 77. In 1880, I can grab phenomenology and hermeneutic. Not really sure what that is, but it's a nice another 7 research points, at which point I should be able to catch up to what is current pretty easily. And it looks like we've moved up to 4th on a pretty reliable basis, with the potential to surpass 3rd coming fairly soon. We have plenty of additional brigades, so what I'm going to do for now is build up another 1 infantry, or reinforce each of these armies of 60 with 1 guard, 1 infantry, and 1 dragoon. So we're gonna split this army first. Actually, I'll just send them all over there and go ahead and disband the artillery, since I don't want any more artillery at the moment. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I swear there was a 5th here somewhere. Oh, left it in China's land. Whoops. No, wait, that's mine. Was looking at the wrong map mode. Anyways, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to need 5 guards. So 3 more guards. 1, 2, and 3 more guards. And then I'm going to shift this rally point over to a little more central location. Build up 3 dragoons and 3 infantry from this area. 1, 2, 3. And then over here, I'm going to just build the 2 dragoons and 2 infantry, which I apparently can build a bunch of units here in the parts of China I took. Doesn't surprise me considering the sheer size of the pops taken. So once those build up, I will move them on over and reinforce these armies. That way the artillery doesn't get exposed to the enemies quite as early. Enemy troops quite as early, I should say. What next to research? Speaking of artillery, I'll go ahead and do iron breech-loaded artillery. It's a pretty good tech and increases the effect of our large amount of artillery, so thus will give us an even larger advantage over China and others, like other uncivs. And our upper house got rearranged. Gonna keep things rolling. It's time to invest again here in Tahiti. The UK is just not looking ready to give this one up. In fact, it looks like we are just now starting to get a little bit of heat. But we'll keep an eye on it. Worst case scenario, we'll withdraw. We don't really want to fight the UK. It's not a fight I think we can win, not at our current technological level. And so, unfortunately, if it comes to war, we'll just probably bend over and give up. As sad as that is. Oh, and I'm going to, since I built enough other infantry, I'm going to disband that infantry so that it will eventually be able to be another guard. After all, they can only be made from accepted cultures, and I don't have too many of those since I can build a lot of units here in China, Korea, and Manchuria, but cannot build guards there. And another crisis. I will declare interest in this one. It's looking like the UK is going to get all the support in this one, so I'm going to go ahead and support the UK against Russia, which the Ottomans should still prefer the UK. Patent just came through, minus 3% factory cost, and limited partnership company, 1% tax efficiency. Both very, very nice. I will drop rich taxes and middle taxes. Poor taxes have to stay where they are for the moment. And then elections. So going to go with interventionalism. Interventionalism is where it is at. And looking at the newspaper, Papal States and Tuscany are at war. Bavaria's afraid of Baden. Wow, that's pretty sad for Bavaria, actually. Baden is, like, not even slightly threatening. But it looks like there's some interesting things going on in Italy. Maybe we'll still see Italy this game, although Austria will have to give up a lot more land before that will happen. And our army reinforcements are coming through. Going to choose interventionalism again for this election event. Foreguard. There we go. Looking at it, conservative faction is residency, so going to choose the lowest effect from that event. Oops. I'm going to, in fact, shift the rally point, so in the future I won't make that same mistake. But now, there we go. Now I can load this army up. Going to stop over up in, first election event, pluralism, since that's what conservative faction chooses. Going to have a quick stop over in Korea to drop off 3 of these units. And iron breech loaded artillery just came through. So, going to do interchangeable parts next. The throughput tech will increase our income pretty significantly. Just going to split off 2 guard to go back on the boat and send them over to China. And then these other guards I will split into individual units and send one to each of these armies. You guys enjoy your reinforcements. Don't spend them all in one place. And we'll likewise split up these infantry and dragoons to send each of them to the armies that they will be reinforcing. It's just an extra 9,000 men for each army, but it will certainly add up. On this event, going to choose residency. And there we go. All of these armies will now be reinforced. Nice little extra bit of front row frontage. I don't care about the scandalous slander. I think that we're going to let them support free press. I have no problem with free press. Again, choosing residency. I'm going to back this unit up from here, though, so as to avoid unnecessary attrition. Since apparently they can't sit in the forest right now. Not without another level of anti-attrition tech. I'm going with protectionism in this event. And going to... oh, never mind. I am going to drop maintenance on land and naval units somewhat so that I can drop taxes on the poor. I'm making plenty of money anyways, and I don't think we're going to be at war for a while since we're still at 22 infamy. We have nothing to gain from a war. It's looking like we might actually end up at war with Russia, though. So this joining in on this crisis may have been a poor decision, but we will live with it if if it so comes to that. Gonna choose lower militancy and consciousness from this choice. Also going to check up. Oh, it looks like the UK passed us in Tahiti. I don't think we were going to win that one anyway, so such is life. Nothing super valuable lost there. Nitroglycerin has started showing up, which increases mining efficiency. It's a very nice event. Happens at, I believe, the state level, and just slowly happens across the entire country. Interventionalism here. I really should not have gotten involved, it would appear. Although between myself and the UK, we have twice the military power of Russia and the Ottomans, so this is kind of surprising that they haven't backed down. Going to abide our time with Kulturkampf, which is culture struggle. And elections finished. Conservative faction still in power, exactly as we could have, or as best as we could have wished for. Looking at Kansai, still no luck on the canned food, and unfortunately, since we got into 6, the capitalists saved 2 spaces for upper level or like more advanced factories, so I'm going to switch this focus over to supporting clerks, because one can never have too many clerks. And the number of clerks is going up, which is very quickly increasing our research points, at least somewhat. And it looks like war it is, so going to raise taxes again on everybody and be ready for battle, really. It's unfortunate that it's come to this, but I don't expect Russia to do all that much, so I'm going to start occupying a little bit of their land, and we'll go from there. Hopefully this will not be too violent or bloody of a war, and hopefully the UK will actually be a useful ally and turn around to win this one. I don't really care if Poland's free. I just really don't want to lose this war and lose the prestige. But, oof. Influenza pandemic, so going to pay to keep it somewhat under control, or at least hopefully keep it under control. Attrition is going to hurt us a lot here in Russia, but as long as I am pretty careful about it and don't overextend too much, it shouldn't matter. And I should be able to occupy a whole lot. Heck, who knows? Maybe I'll go ahead and, if this war goes pretty well, add the war goal and take these islands here. Or these islands here. There's a couple different places I could try and take from Russia, so either one of those would be good with me. And it is January 1st, 1879, so I'm going to stop it here. Looks like we just got another nice factory cost decrease invention, and we are currently at war with Russia over the freedom of Poland and potentially some other nice little bits of land. So thank you for watching, and check back soon for more Victoria 2 Heart of Darkness.